Support for Financial Grown Up with Bobby Rebell and the following message come from TransferWise, the cheaper way to send money internationally. TransferWise takes a machete to the hefty fees that come with sending money abroad. Test it out for free at transferwise.com/podcast or download the app.
I would not do it the same way. That was a huge risk that I took. And I got lucky that I was able just to run back up and everything was okay. And I was in the right spot. So I probably would not do it again.
You're listening to Financial Grown Up with me, certified financial planner Bobby Rebell, author of How to Be a Financial Grown Up. And you know what? Being a grown up is really hard, especially when it comes to money. But it's okay. We're going to get there together. I'm going to bring you one money story from a financial grown-up, one lesson, and then my take on how you can make it your own. We got this. Hey friends, sometimes we get so wrapped up in getting our financial plans together for the future that we miss something super important in the now. For financial advisor Kevin Mathews II, who runs Building Bread and is the author of Starting Point, How to Create Wealth That Lasts, making sure he created a video moments before his son was born seemed really important at the time. But looking back, maybe it could have waited. I'll let Kevin fill you in. Here is Kevin Mathews II. Hey, Kevin Mathews, you are a financial grown-up. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
We met actually at an event for Frugal run by our mutual friend, Jason Fittug. I was so impressed with you, and I went and I ran after you and said, I need to track you down. I need to have you on my podcast. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And you gave a great presentation, and that's a lot of what you do. You're a financial advisor, but you also do a lot of speaking. You also have Building Bread is your website, your company, and you are a 2-time author.
Yes.
And we will talk about more about that. That's a little teaser, my friends. We're going to talk more about Kevin's books and his business in just a few minutes. But first, I want to get to your story because it has to do with your baby that was just born, your son. And by the way, are you a first-time father?
Yes, it's first time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So share our story because this is very special and very sweet.
Yeah. So I do a segment that airs every week. So I do what's called Breadcrumbs. I give out financial tidbits every Wednesday morning.
And where does this on YouTube? Where is it so people can see it?
This is primarily on Facebook.
On Facebook, okay.
So I have it on Facebook for my group. It's also on Twitter and then through my email list as well. Every week I get on, we'll talk about what's in the news. I'll give you a few tips and continue that way. So at the hospital, about 2 hours before my son was born, it was Wednesday. I'm a dedicated person. So I was like, look, I need to do this because once he's born, there's no way I'm going to stay on schedule. So I ran downstairs. I shot a video on compounding interest and a few tips we were going to do for my son to make sure that he was going to become a millionaire.
Right. You called it 3 things for your son to become a millionaire.
Yeah, 3 things we were going to do to make sure my son was a millionaire. So I went down. I was live in the lobby of the hospital because I couldn't record in the room. You know, I'm shooting. And I assume at this time my wife has maybe 2, 3, 4 hours perhaps before he's born.
Oh, no. Kevin, you're a first-time father. Babies don't go on your schedule. First lesson.
I learned. So, I shoot the video. It takes maybe 15, 20 minutes. I get back in the elevator. And the minute I walk in, it's like, okay, push. I'm like, wait.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So
you are so dedicated to your group that you almost missed the birth of your son.
Yeah, so I was so dedicated to his future that I almost missed the present. So yeah, I was able to do both. I definitely made it, but had I been, maybe 20 minutes later going down and recording, or had the video been longer or something, I definitely could have missed it. And this was in the middle of that last winter snowstorm as well.
Oh my gosh. So we want everyone to go watch the actual video, but give us some highlights of the advice and the lessons for your newborn son to become a millionaire.
Yeah. So it's really getting yourself in position to make sure that he's going to be taken care of. So there's the life insurance piece, and there's the piece that you want to make sure that you're updating all of your records, your beneficiaries, all of that. Because sometimes when you have a kid, when you get married, when those life changes happen, you want to make sure that everything is in place to have everything updated so that it reflects your current family situation, which again is fluid. The second thing that we're going to do, or that we just did actually, was open up an investing account for him and then begin saving for him now, so that, when he's in his 30s, maybe even 40s, he will be much further along than I was or anyone in my family, actually.
What kind of account was it? It doesn't sound like you're talking about a 529 for school if he's going to get it in his 30s or 40s.
Correct. Right now, the first account we opened was a custodial account for him. We may do a 529 plan in the near future, but I started with a custodial account.
Very good. And the full video available on Facebook. So what is the lesson from not just the lessons that you're giving your newborn son, but what is the lesson from this story where you admitted you didn't really plan well, but you also were really dedicated to your business? So would you do it again the same way?
The same way, no. I would not do it the same way. That was a huge risk that I took, and I got lucky that I was able just to run back up and everything was okay, and I was in the right spot. So I probably would not do it again. Definitely planning ahead would have been easier. Probably recording in advance would have been easier as well.
All right, but it did have that special live quality, so.
Yes, it did.
It will always have that.
It worked for that one time, but to risk it twice may not be wise.
So for baby number 2, more scheduling. Mm-hmm. And you learn, and also the lesson is that babies don't keep to grown-up time.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about your money tip. What should people do? And this is great advice for anyone, not just parents.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's similar to the previous point, but it's being at the right spot in the right time. And the way I look at that is making sure that you are properly balanced. Over the last few years, stocks have been great, and that kind of throws people out of whack. And what we do is we tend to say, hey, great, I'm just going to roll with it. I'm making gains. But that's really the time that you want to go back and rebalance your portfolio. And you want to do it periodically. You want to keep those dates static versus checking in when it's a bad day in the market, or just, randomly when you're in the mood to.
So specifically, what does it mean to rebalance your portfolio? How does it suddenly get off balance?
Yeah, so it can get off balance when the market changes. For example, if you're someone who has a 50-50 portfolio, you want to have 50% in stocks, 50% in bonds. If you're someone who's right in the middle, as stocks grow, your portfolio could be 65 or 70% versus 30% because of the growth of the market. You want to go back. That means that you're taking on more risk. So you may want to go back, look at your portfolio, and bring it back down to where it's 50-50, because that's where you should be based on your goals and your risk tolerance.
Well said. All right, Kevin, I want to talk about your businesses, because you kind of have a bunch of different things going on, and you're writing books and you're making videos. Tell us more about what you do.
Yeah, at Building Bread, my main goal is to help you set, simplify, and achieve your financial goals. And I do that through basic financial education. So I do the videos, I do breadcrumbs, and I teach courses to make sure that when you're speaking with your financial advisor, when you're trying to figure out on your own, that you can understand the situation, have a well-educated conversation, so that you don't feel like people are talking over you or at you.
And I can speak firsthand. You are a wonderful speaker and presenter, and everyone was mesmerized by what you were saying. And I think you got a lot of people to really pay attention to their money and be a lot more deliberate.
Yeah, thank you.
So where can people find you and get in touch if they want you to come to their organization, or if they want to follow you on social media?
Yeah, you can follow me anywhere on social media at Building Bread. I'm always active there. You can also email me at info@buildingbread.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin Mathews. This has been great.
Yes, thank you.
Kevin had a lot of great advice. Financial grown-up tip number 1. We spend a lot of time in the personal finance space talking about planning for the future, but by no means should that divert your attention from the present when things like the birth of your child are about to happen. Perspective. It is a great story to tell your kid, but take note, Kevin would not do it again. Let's try to look up from our phones more. I'm right there with you on that one. We may not even realize all the priceless things we may be missing, and you can't buy more time. Financial grown-up tip number 2, just like you schedule a doctor's appointment, let's all take Kevin's advice and do a financial checkup based not on when something is happening in the market, for example, but on a calendar-driven basis, so the decisions are based on what is best for you in a proactive way, not a reactive way. Or another good time may be when you have a change in circumstance, like having a baby. I don't really do this these days, but I'm going to think about Kevin's advice and try to be on a more regular schedule with checking in with family, financial planning, and things like that. I think it's a great thing to incorporate in all of our lives. So thank you, Kevin. And thanks to all of you for supporting Financial Grown Up. I am starting to get a nice amount of applications for our upcoming once-a-month listener as guest episodes, so keep them coming. We're going to have some great stories, and I can't wait to hear yours. Just email us at info@financialgrownup.com. Tell us the money story and the money tip that you would share if you were chosen. Please continue to share this show with your friends and colleagues to help bring more people into the Financial Grown-Up community. Rate and review us on iTunes. That really helps us get noticed, and it is truly appreciated. Follow me on Twitter at Bobby Rebell, on Instagram at Bobby Rebell1, and you can find me on Facebook at Bobby Rebell. Kevin truly brought some fatherly wisdom to our program. Great show, Kevin, and thanks for getting us all one step closer to being financial grown-ups. Financial Grown Up with Bobby Rebell is edited and produced by Steve Stewart and is a BRK Media production.